it's become a soap opera.
Has it made you like American owners a little more?
Say I'm here for a stand-up tour. I'm here to get answers from the Glazers. That's why I'm in America.
We have a revolving door of superstars that walk in this room. And this might be one of the biggest from overseas, across the pond. We're going to have to add a couple captions, though, because the way this guy speaks, he claims it's English. I never heard this
But
guy.
we have enough experience because we haven't been to his country, but we have been to Ireland. So we understand the accent to some degree. So I don't think
the fact that you just called it the same similar might upset this guy. Look, this guy's from Belfast, bro.
it's a different country.
Yeah, they went with the royal family, bro. It's St. Patrick's Day today that we're recording this. You're really causing some international incidents.
There's no way I was going to get through this interview without offending him in some way.
Of course. Look, his people got to keep the potatoes, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, all the way from Belfast, Shane Todd, everybody.
Oh, boys.
Shane, what's up, man?
Good to be here. Never been more offended in my entire life. I've never experienced this in Ireland. But yeah, I've been doing 2 years of Duolingo now.
Okay.
For English. So I'm pretty... we're getting fluent.
You're nailing it, buddy. I love it.
Now, you told a joke a while back about you ordering a coffee.
Yeah.
Now, we have I think I sound a little bit more East Coasty than you. You did a real good job of learning how to speak correctly so people take you seriously.
I suppressed that.
Yeah. I did. I said, I want to sound like I sell used Cadillacs always. So I said coffee, but you had a problem ordering, was it tea?
It was
you
tea.
were looking for tea.
It was tea.
Yeah.
We're tea guys. There's tea in America.
It's
not tea.
just the sound of a letter, but you still kind of say it wrong. I don't know how you say tea wrong.
Somehow, like American people have been telling me since I got here a couple of weeks ago, I say my own name wrong. That's not a...
That's remarkable.
You say what, Shen?
When I go into a Starbucks and say, what's your name for the order? I say Shane. I should soften it.
The way you say it sounds like a cartoon when someone takes a sword out of...
It does.
It's also,
Sheen, you know,
it also sounds like the fast fashion clothing brand Sheen.
Sheen. Yeah.
Is that how you say it? I thought it was Shein.
No, Sheen.
No, that's the right way to say my name. But when I say it sounds like a motorbike going past the window. Shane.
Yeah.
But I won't soften my accent.
You don't code switch?
No. I think it's weird. I have mates in America that are from home, and then we're out, and I hear them softening their voice. I'm like, what are you doing?
Sure.
What are you doing?
I think
they're not home. You know what I mean?
I do think, because I was in the Republic of Ireland.
Yeah.
So my brother, every time I speak to anyone, Northern Irish or Irish, I always bring up this story. My brother is a professional handball player.
American handball, like wall ball.
Wall ball.
Yeah.
You guys know. So the game is from Ireland. The immigrants brought it to New York, and that's why there's handball courts all over New York.
And Latinos took it over.
What's crazy is I didn't know that, but I nodded like, yes, that is.
He was like, totally.
We're very proud of that.
Yeah,
I never knew that.
You're welcome.
I never knew that.
So my Dominican brother.
By the way, it's like super hood and Latino now here. It's got nothing to do with Irish people.
It's just such a New York iconic sport. So there was one of the world championships were held in Ireland. And
yes, I was there.
Oh, of course, you were doing the commentary. I remember
he was working the potato concession,
the tater stand. Yeah, I love it. But I was watching a match, and there was this other girl that I knew that was watching a game as well, and she was like, "Hey, Christian, how are you?" Or whatever. And then we're watching the same game, and she goes, "Hey, how far?" And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
She goes, who y'all for?
Yeah. And that's when you say someone's having a stroke.
And I'm like, what are you like? No. So all I'm saying, code switch after like the fourth time that the person doesn't understand you. And then I was like, what are you saying? And she's like, who do you think is going to win?
Yeah,
and I'm
like,
oh, who are you up for?
Bro, that's what you were saying had nothing to do with the translation you gave me.
Because there's also, not only it's the difficult to understand the language or the accent for some Americans, but then there's also just a way of speaking, the words that you use that are just so different in both countries.
It sounds very old timey to us.
Do you know what I'm like when UK audiences and Irish audiences watch like The Wire without subtitles?
Yeah,
I'm like that. You're not getting every word. You don't pick it all up, but you understand the gist of what's being said.
I can't even imagine what it would be like I wish I would have seen it first in North Ireland, like hanging out with you and your homies.
Yeah.
Like the first time Bodie said.
By the way, do I look like a guy who has homies?
No. I met your family. I met your parents. I didn't want to disrespect
my dad,
you.
that's my dog.
Yeah, that's my dog. Yo, my homie makes great biscuits. That's my mom right there. Your roommates. I like the first time Bodie said like, yo, he got, and everyone on the show was like, oh, okay. And they don't explain that means he got killed. I would have loved to have been around you and your peoples. I've been like, wait, could someone just rewind?
We would have like a committee meeting after every episode. We're like, right, let's go through this line
what
by
do you
line.
think happened?
Yeah.
You start.
That's a little book report.
Yeah.
On each episode of The Wire. No, man.
Is there something we say that confuses you? Like,
Everything.
But like anything from this last trip that stood out? Because to us, it seems so normal.
Not like what you say. It's more like what I see. For example, like I started this tour in San Francisco and I went into CVS to buy that's another thing, what is correctly known as crisps. What you guys call potato chips.
Right. Mm-hmm. Even though it was invented here.
We're quite sensitive about potatoes. Anyway, we're looking for the least amount of potato references because it brings back, PTSD. The family.
It's like, like black and white images of war.
So me and my friend Sean, who was with me at the start of this trip, we went into CVS.
No, okay.
By the way, he flew home. I'm making it sound like the streets got him.
Yeah.
He just was here only for a few days.
He was here first.
He got got. He got got.
Hey, in this country, I get it, bro.
He overdosed on potatoes, but in the Tenderloin in San Francisco. But we went into CVS and we just wanted like a snack. Like Ireland has issues like every country, but I know it's not as bad as America because our groceries are not locked up.
Oh, your potato chips aren't in jail?
They're not behind bars.
You have to ask
on.
for permission.
Yeah.
You have to sign
ask
a form.
the man.
Yeah.
You have to call for the man.
Yeah. Well,
just
CVS is now owned by private prison companies, so everything goes behind bars. It's crazy. Also, there's one employee in this massive store.
Yeah.
So you gotta wait till they get to you.
Yep.
What turned like a 2 minutes, I'm gonna go grab a bag of chips, is now 17 minutes. Yeah, I'm waiting. I'm number 40, and they're on number 22 of helping someone try to get deodorant.
Yeah.
It's
and
tough.
it puts so much pressure on you because you can't like have a look at it and put it back.
Yeah.
The man's come over with the keys and unlocked it, so you gotta get whatever he gives you gotta buy. So
this is it.
the whole country confuses me. I'm not gonna lie,
It
but
is
I like
very
it.
odd. We had a moment with like we were running out of baby formula, and all of it was behind this glass, and it's just like, we don't care how hungry your baby is, you gotta wait till we open the day.
Yeah.
And you're like, please open this thing. We did this. We went on we did a trip to Minnesota. We hosted a show. All the heads of all the supporters groups. Now remember, here we don't kill each other. So all the heads of the supporters groups.
Yeah, where's the passion left? Why is there no murder?
Yeah, sorry, we're all plastic. We hug each
Game's
other.
gone here in the States.
All the heads of all the supporters groups get together every year and like
See, that disgusts me that they can do that.
yeah. In a room, by the way. And they share best practices.
And no knives.
No knives. No, just to cut the mediocre steak. And so we roast all their teams every year, right? They hire us to roast all their teams.
Yep.
So it's a big performance. We get there. It's like 2 or 3 days in Minnesota. It's freezing cold. I forget to pack socks. So I'm wearing the last pair of socks I have. And I said, bro, we need to get socks. So we go to a Target, which is like
See, by the way, if I heard that in The Wire, I would assume it means like drugs or
No,
something. We need to get socks.
Yeah. I'm on the phone with yo, he stepped on the package. Ankle socks? Is that what you mean? So we go to get socks. All the socks are behind glass. So I hit the little button. It sends the alarm. There's a dude who works, right? He's right there. No one's looking up. No one's looking at their little phone doohickey that says, blah. So I keep hitting the button, Lady shows up and she's like, what socks do you want? I said, I don't know. I haven't looked at them yet. And she goes, here you go. And she just handed me a pair of socks. And I was like, yeah, I'll take these.
Yeah.
And then as I put them on, they're not even like made of cotton. It's like some type of
silk.
I don't know what they are. It's like the same material they make like billboards out of. It's like really uncomfortable.
Is this your way of saying you bought fishnet stockings? You're like, that's what they gave me.
No, this is it. I'm a bad bitch now. You know what I mean?
Give me this rubber mask.
Yeah.
Well, I just had to buy it.
It's got just a hole, a zipper hole in the front. I'm like, this is who I am now.
So Shane, I do want to actually. I know Alexis is more familiar with you, and I was prepping as much as possible and catching up with your comedy and watching a special that you put out. I think it was in 2023, but it was on YouTube just a couple of months ago. But you were touring in the United States. How many cities did you do? And was it your first tour in the US?
So this is my third. So I think it's the third year I've done like a tour. I've come over for shows before, but this is like the third.
Were you like
tour.
sell your own shows this time?
Yeah.
Cool.
I this is the third year I've done that.
Nice.
So it really varies in terms of like scale. But I love coming over here because I see it as like the comedy capital of the world. Sure. It always has been. So to just be in these clubs and cities, even if there's 12 people, I'm still there, you know? Yeah. But it's obviously wildly different to the business I'm doing in Ireland, but I still am happy to come over and build it up. And normally what I do is I play pickup soccer during the day.
Oh, nice.
And then go back to the hotel, then do the show at night. I would do that every day when I'm out here, but I have an injury at the minute, so it's killing me to not play. I love it. Was actually, you put me in touch with Kyle Martino.
Yeah, come to the Street FC.
Yeah. Street FC is like, for people who don't know, is like Tinder for pickup games.
For sure.
You're like,
dude, you're a bunch of players. Dude.
I'm lonely in a new city. I'm like, where's my nearest game?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're playing football on like high school rooftops, hard court. Yeah. Like I love it. Also on that app, you can like, you rate yourself out of 5 and then it pairs you up with that game. So I put myself in as a 2, and then you just go and lord it.
Yeah. Bodying.
I'm just like nutmegging, pinging it around, and like
you're pushing kids out of the way, like after school program.
So that's what
Street FC. You rate yourself, but you also have rate the players you played against
exactly
as well. So it balances. So you can't lie. You say like, yo, I'm amazing.
Do they do that on dating apps? By the way, do you rate each other after a date?
I think it's they did try that on some dating apps, and then they stopped it because. It was like the commentary, like the responses were too like mean and vicious.
Right. So you're like 5 stars, great finisher.
Yeah, took forever. Real good assist.
I wish I guess you're injured, but like I played in my Sunday league. We won 2 games, 3-0 and 6-0. Bro, we dominated. Yeah. So I would have called you. I got 1 assist.
The first time I played out here, I was coming over about 7 years ago to do.
What did you think of the level of the player in America? You thought we were trash out here?
No, I'd never really subscribed to that. Like I always think, I always want. I'm not just saying that because I'm here, but like at World Cups, I always want the USA to do well. I'm like, this is going to be the time. And I think I've always played. Yeah, I play the game Football Manager, and I like you always see like wonder kids from America, and I'm like, it's all going to come together. So I've always kind of followed the MLS because I liked it back in the day because you would have like a player from like League One of the Championship in England, and he would go to the MLS, and I was always obsessed with that journey and to see how he got on there. There's a lot of Irish players who went over as well.
There's one guy in particular, a guy named Luke Rogers, who was in League One, who came out here, and he wasn't allowed back because he got into a bar fight in England.
Sure.
And I was like, that is the exact.
That's perfect.
Why are you bringing all of your culture with you?
At least he did the fight over there. And I remember him trying to explain, like, why are you upset? It's just a bar fight.
Yeah.
Like MLS, like, no, we don't allow our players to do this.
Yeah. But I got into it through that and kind of always followed MLS a little bit. And especially like, some Irish players going over and just kept an eye on how they were getting on. So I didn't know what I thought the standard was going to be, but I came over to Philly to do a show about 6 years ago. And the guy running it, the promoter, said, I said to him the day before, I was like, listen, if there's any like football on when I'm there, like, because they sponsored a team, his bar. Mm-hmm. So I was like, if there's any opportunity for me to get involved, I would love to play. He thought I was joking. I texted him in Dublin airport on my way over. I was like, I have my boots. Like, I am good to go here. Or cleats, whatever you want to say. No, boots is right. But he picked me up from the airport and they had a game. I landed at like 10:30. They had a game at like 11. And he drove me straight there. And I came on as a sub and played a league game for them. And I loved it. It was on like an American football.
The lines are crazy.
And it was, I would say the standard equivalent probably wasn't as good, but the athleticism was probably like really up there. But it was way more like competitive than a game back home would be at that level, I think.
Okay.
Like guys were losing their minds
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah.
so into it. And like the way they were speaking to the referee as well was like back home you would not speak to a referee like that, but everybody was just like so into
It's
it.
also Philly. Philly is a
Right.
They very famously booed Santa Claus,
Right.
And they throw batteries at the opposing fans.
Yeah, this
because
is
we
a-
don't split our fan bases.
Right.
We were just allowed to intermix, which in Philly is you're gonna get beat up.
Yeah.
What's your? I mean, you're speaking fairly, I don't know, highly of yourself, but as far as your level and play, like you sound like you're a proper baller, mate.
Same. I was really uncomfortable when he did it.
You know, I'm trying to speak his language.
Yeah,
That's
bro,
all.
I think you understood, you dog.
So yeah, I get it. But I
leaning in.
Yeah.
I would say, look, I'm 36 now, right? And
You look 23.
thank you.
Yeah, you too.
What I live for is like charity games that we play at home.
Yeah.
I live for that. We get to play in like nice little stadiums, Irish League grounds, and I live for that. And all I want to do in these games is score a goal. That's all I want. And so we played last year. We played against Man United Legends, and I'm a huge Man United fan.
Yeah.
So we played against the Legends, and it was like 3,000 people or so in this Irish League stadium where Cliftonville play. And I brought. They told me there was going to be a videographer there, but I brought my own videographer.
just to make sure.
I was like, be low key up in the stands, and
Also
just
put a GoPro on his head
just
just
stay
to
on
make
me.
sure
Yeah.
we get the footage.
Yeah.
I was like,
Back cam.
just stay on me. And he did. My mate Calvin was up in the stands with the camera. And but 10 minutes in, now I was being marked by Yap Stam.
Of
Oh my
course.
God, yeah.
Who coached here, but very famous.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Not for long.
No,
No. Yeah.
And the ball's been played in, and I've just taken it first time. I just buried it bottom corner, past Big Yap Stam.
Oh.
And everyone who was playing was an ex-pro, so like the game was nothing to them. But this was like my World Cup final.
Yeah, for sure.
And I scored and had to pretend like it was like all good. And then there's a moment where I like look up to Calvin in the stands, and he just gives me the thumbs up, like he got it, and I'm like, thank God. The rest of the game,
Full on waterworks.
I had no interest in the rest of the game. I was like, I don't give a
You pass, give it back, pass, give it back, pass, give it back. I'm good. I did what I came to do.
I didn't care, but I live. We played against Liverpool Legends as well, and we're arranging our own one during the summer against the ex-Premier League 11. So I live for these games, but I still play club football as well for a team that is really close to where I live.
Okay.
And I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah,
I actually, there's a good friend of mine, John Cooney, who plays for
plays
Gloucester
rugby.
County. Yeah.
Plays for Ulster.
So he's like begged me to move to Belfast. Every time something political happens here, he's like, buddy, you gotta go.
yeah.
He's like, this is very nice here. It's very calm. I'm like, it's not my vibe. You know, I like danger.
Yeah.
But I was telling him, I'm like, oh, you know, did you come out here and check out a soccer or a football game? And he was like, oh, it's not my thing. I'm like, you check out a rugby. And he was like, I'm not going to go to your rugby. Now, he said that because he's like, bro, we ain't never heard. You just said a team name I've never heard of.
Cliftonville.
Cliftonville. I've heard of like Shamrocks. I've heard of Bohemians. That's obviously Republic of Ireland. I didn't know there was a North Irish League.
Yeah, confusingly called the Irish League. So we have the Irish League and the League of Ireland.
I love it.
But you've got like Glentoran,
It all seems very
Linfield, Cliftonville.
it seems very petty the way you guys name things.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the whole thing is based on pettiness, but we have a Northern Ireland. There's like a Northern Ireland League and a Republic of Ireland League.
Right.
They used to play in like there was like a cross Ireland competition, which was great. I don't think they have that anymore. But yeah, sometimes we get to play in Irish League grounds, and it's unreal. But I didn't know what I would think of an MLS game, and then I told you I was at Austin FC,
which is great. I mean, it's also new, so it's very flashy.
The stadium's there's not a bad seat in the house.
Yeah.
The stadium is great, and I'm glad I went. But we're talking about like, you know, the way fans are so into it earlier, and you meeting supporters groups. There was two guys behind, so they have like the section of like the fans who love it. Like the ultras who are like playing drums and they're into it the whole time. And then there was clearly like two guys. So I'm sitting in a stand where like no one's really like loud or anything. People are just watching it. Yeah. And they're Austin FC fans, but it's like, it's really laid back. We're behind the other goal. Their ultras are behind the other goal. And there's clearly like two guys behind us who are like been banned from the ultras thing, but bring the same energy, but it's just two guys.
Yeah.
And they're like head to toe in green face paint, like antlers. They've got like crazy outfits. And they're playing like, do you remember like Vuvuzelas from the South Africa World Cup? They've got like all these like homemade trumpets, and they're really going for it. And I watched them the whole game behind me. Like I spent the whole game watching these guys, and I realized at no point were they looking at the match. They were looking all around them playing these instruments. At no point had they seen any of the game.
Right.
And I said to my friend, I was like, that's mental that they've watched none of the game. And my mate was like, you've not watched any of the game. You've been watching them watching other people.
Well, that's entertaining.
Yeah.
But I did this happened to me once. I forget where we were. We went somewhere and I was behind a guy with a flag, like a massive flag, and he's waving. This is my guy's job.
Yeah.
He is dedicated. I am the flag waver.
Flag, yeah.
He got to watch the game. I got to see a flag.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like watching scramble porn back in the day. I'm like, I think I saw a titty, you know? Like, people, I'm going with cheers. Who's and ahs is how
You've been
I know.
waiting 43 minutes on LimeWire.
Wait till this thing downloads, bro. Mom, go pick up the
and
phone.
it's just Soldier Boy at the end. You're like,
I'm like, you know what? I'm going to finish this anyway. At this point.
Was that a 1-2? I don't know.
And I mean, you get off the phone.
Super Soak got laptop.
Well, that's something I think of when you're wearing a Dortmund shirt, and when
Nice throwback.
we've been to Dortmund, and
Oh, I'm so jealous.
yeah,
not been?
Yeah,
No.
oh, you gotta go, man. But
So jealous.
But when you
Buddy, we'll link you.
when we
I would love
Yeah,
to go.
get you in the yellow wall.
when
dog.
I love that.
when you're watching the yellow wall, the flags are gigantic, and then you realize like, yeah, there's probably about 30 people that are just getting glimpses of the game every couple
Also,
moments.
these guys behind me thought they were like creating the atmosphere, and then another friend of ours was like 3 rows behind them, and he showed us a video of them, and you couldn't hear them 3 rows back. So I was like, God love these guys. Like they're making zero atmosphere. These 2 guys who were so committed to it. But I was telling you that my friend has just signed for San Diego, Paddy McNair, Northern Ireland International. And I was supposed to go to his game, but the flights didn't work out. And he said it was like 35,000 people for their first ever game in MLS. 0-0.
Yeah.
That would
What I
be-
was thinking.
Yeah.
But look, unbeaten San Diego FC.
Undefeated. And they won. Then they won.
Yeah.
Actually, he went to Austin FC's first ever match as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
great.
couldn't. I was on the road, or I was away, and he was like, "Bro, the atmosphere is amazing." I was like, they were already talking about like the fact that the lights turn off and then green during a goal, and I was like,
Yeah.
"What did it look like?" He's like, "It was no."
Then
Like,
again-
the
then again,
tacos were
But
amazing. though.
Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson were there. So that was pretty great.
Yeah, I got
Yeah,
to see McConaughey there. It was-
But I actually think it's like kind of like a good thing for the MLS that I was sort of hoping that like there was some sort of English journeyman playing,
sure.
some 37-year-old guy who's been through all the leagues, but there wasn't. And it was more like local players and South American players.
Like
you know.
22-year-old
Exactly.
Paraguayan guys.
So that's
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
better for the quality of the league, if you know what I mean.
We're
that
trying to
there
get away
wasn't
from
those
the
guys.
old UK folks.
Because like Paddy, who's come over, is like 30 or 31, I want to say, and played for Man United, is like top level championship player, probably definitely good enough to play Premier League, and he's in the league now. So like he's a guy who maybe would have made that move at 35 in the past to MLS, but now he's coming over in like his prime because the standard's way higher.
Well, it's interesting because we've interviewed a lot of players, and I do think especially like that English gritty like championship player, like we could probably use more of those guys playing here just to bring a little bit of that competitive edge, because I think
you mean like the toughness?
the toughness
Yeah,
is
Like a 2-footed tackle at throat level.
Yeah.
You know?
I'd say, what are you on about, refs? You know?
It's a contact game, ref. It's contact game.
As if it's the ref's fault.
Man's game.
There's something
You've
to
killed him.
the cutthroat attitude
Yes.
that exists in European football, probably as a whole. But then at the English level, it's something like you were talking about Austin FC Stadium and how gorgeous it is. But if you also saw their training ground, top tier. We've spoken to players like DeAndre Yedlin, who played Tottenham, Newcastle, and when we spoke to him, and he had come back to MLS, he was at Inter Miami, and we asked him like, hey, what's one of the like biggest differences? He's like, since I left and came back, the training grounds are better than they are in Europe. So it's almost like I feel like this happens a lot in tech related things where you're like, hey, if I get all the cool stuff, I'll learn how to do the thing, and then you get it, and you're like, nah, I'm bored. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm not here to like disparage MLS players, but I do think from the way we think of like from a top down level, an executive level, and ownership, it's like, yeah, let's get all the best stuff, and then we're gonna get the best players. And then the players are gonna be good because they have all the best food and they have all the best resources. And then it's like there's something about that grit of just like not having nothing.
It's the pressure. It's the pressure of like everything feels like it's the end of the world across the pond. If you lose a match, like I forget what player it was, but he was from the UK. He said one of the biggest shocks to him was, I think it was the first time, I think he played for the Chicago Fire, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember who it is, but they lost away their first match of the season. And I think the coach or someone told him like, oh, the fans are at the stadium, at the airport. And he's thinking he's about to get stuff thrown at him or whatever. Gets out. It's like moms and dads clapping for him. And he was like, they're asking for autographs. And he's like, bro, we lost. And they're like, yeah, you'll get him next week. The attitude's but I think that's also just an American thing. Aren't we seen as like way more positive than you guys?
Enthusiastic, positive, that kind of.
You guys make fun of us for it. We're like Labradors to you.
Yeah. But we, like for example, I'm a big Man United fan, and one thing that is kind of good in a way, but actually you're right. You're talking about like wanting like a bit of like tough tackles, a bit of like more competitiveness. It can be too much. Like the reason atmospheres are unbelievable, I think, in European football is like there is that thing of like if the team is not playing well or whatever, the fans are on their backs.
Yeah.
I've been to see Man United a good few times, and one thing I don't love about the atmosphere is, and I'm not a season ticket holder, I'm not at every game, so maybe people tell me I'm wrong, but until Man United like go up in the game, like start winning in the game, the supporters are either like completely quiet or on their backs so badly. And the last time I was there, I took my son, God love my son, in December just for Christmas. My son's 4 and he's become a big Man United fan because his dad.
You ruined his life.
And I said, let's go to Old Trafford. Let's go. We went just before Christmas. And I looked at the fixture list and I picked a game that I was like, we have a chance here. We're going to win. I need to see, I'm not going to take him to a Man City or a Liverpool or whatever. So I booked tickets, me and him go see Man United versus Bournemouth. And I was like, come on, me and my son, dream day. Left Belfast 6 a.m, went over for the game. Starts raining, got beat 3-0.
Yeah.
And God love my son. At the end of the game, my son was like, Daddy, did we not win? And I was like, I said, don't be stupid. We're the team in white. And I told him we were the team in white.
Hey, he had a great day. What a lovely Christmas.
He's like, cherries, bro.
He's like, why did Bournemouth play in red? I said, hey, don't worry about it. We won the game. And
the rules are crazy.
It rained the whole time, but the atmosphere was horrible. Yeah, and I get that if you're like a season ticket holder at Man United, you're not happy with the way things are going. But every time quite a few of the players had the bottle, like the atmosphere was not positive. So I think there's a middle ground there between the MLS atmosphere and sometimes a hard Premier League atmosphere of like you need some sort of encouragement.
We went to Old Trafford once. It was I'm a big Arsenal supporter, so it was United Arsenal. We were in Liverpool because he's an Everton supporter, and they flew us out to do like a documentary. I said, bro, I want to go to this Arsenal game. So you're a Manchester United fan. You might know Flex, United View, the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So Flex is a good friend of mine. We used to have a show in Complex. I hit him up and I said, bro, is there any chance you can get me tickets in the away section for Arsenal? And he's like, bro, that's impossible. Let me see what I could do. Day of, he says, bro, I got you tickets. So let's go. We go to Manchester. It's like a 2-hour train or whatever, 45-minute train from Liverpool to Manchester. We're going there. I'm wearing an Arsenal shirt. It's cold, so I have a big jacket. He's like, here you go. He sends me the tickets. He like airdrops them. And I'm like, what section is this? Like, where am I? He's like, oh, bro, you're like 2 seats away from the pitch. He's like, you're in the Sir Alex Ferguson stand. And I'm thinking, why would they call the away section? Why would they name it after their greatest manager? I said, wow, Sir Alex Ferguson. I'm like, bro, they named the away section? And he goes, nah, you're in the home section. And I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, I'm wearing Arsenal gear. And he's like, bro, he's like, yo, you're with the old guys. They won't care.
Yeah.
They've been there. He's like, you're in the rich seats. So I'm thinking like, all right, we'll be okay. He's like, oh, a section away from me. We're both in the he's obviously not wearing Arsenal. Mm-hmm. So I show up and I'm like, something tells me to zip up. It's still kind of post-COVID, so I have a mask on.
Yeah.
So I go there and I'm sitting between 2 old dudes who one guy's like, he's got like a little bit of a tattoo on his face. Like it's kind of faded. He's got some tattoos on his hands, but he's probably like 70 years old, maybe 60 something. He goes, oh, it's my mate's seat. Where'd you get it? And I was like, I kind of didn't answer. I was like, a friend, you know? I'm trying not to say too much because I'm like, I don't even want them to know I'm American.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right. kind of grilled me a little bit, but then where the game's happening, Cristiano Ronaldo shoots just wide. Everyone jumps up and goes, "Oh!" I don't. As he comes back down, he's like, "Where you from, mate?"
Yeah.
And I swear, I say it on stage, but it's true. I looked at him and I go, "No speak English." I knew in that moment this dude wanted to fight me. The whole time he stared at me to make sure I couldn't speak English. Yeah. I told him, Cavani, he's a cousin. Cavani. And saying Cavani, I told him that was my cousin. I said, I'm from Uruguay. And he's like, oh, this guy's Uruguay. He took photos with me. Him and his buddy took pictures. I'm like, okay, muy bueno. I pretended I couldn't speak English. Halftime, I met him. I'm like, I can't go back, man. I think the guy wants to knife me. I was so scared. But the whole time, instead of jeering he just stared at me. The other guy hated everything that was happening on the pitch. Yeah. I think it was Alex Telles, right? Telles was a right back. So he was close to us. He had like clear open space and he started running. He looked up where to pass it and he wasn't seeing the defender come at him. Gets the ball, goes the other way. And the guy's like, he's like, Telles. Yeah, he's like, something like your mother's a cow. Something like very British. And Tellers just looks over and I'm like, we are too close. Like, they can hear you, bro.
He was brutal for Man United.
He was pretty bad.
He was brutal.
Yeah. I just want to point out, because I just saw this on my train right here. This is after Tottenham lost.
The fans got at Ange.
The fans got at Ange. I don't know if you saw this, but I just love the quote. The fan is like jeering Ange Postecoglou, and he says, Ange, what the fuck was that, you knobhead? Look at his face. He's
I feel bad because he's Australian.
Do you know what that looks like? The way Ange is looking up there. You know when people are like at the zoo and like mocking the gorillas. Right. Ange is just there. Like, if I could get out past this glass, I would rip your head off.
The gorilla's like, you're nothing. I could kill you.
It's so ridiculous how mean. Because we're usually if it happens here, other fans are like, "Hey, man, he's just trying his best.
Take it easy,
take it easy, bro."
Yeah. This is a man at his
job. But you mentioned Manchester United. I want to make sure we dedicate some time because this Manchester United,
bro, talk to us.
Gets a lot of views.
Let's move on.
Yeah,
let's move on. No, of course.
My as an Everton fan, my dream this season is to be above Manchester United,
and it might happen.
It might happen. We're not getting the last two results for Everton haven't been great, but Manchester United are the did you see the Gary Neville, Jim Ratcliffe interview?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, it was that amazing television.
The smile that came across your face. This should have been brutal, but I guess you enjoy this.
It's become a soap opera. It's just become drama. Everything that happens is wild. Jim Ratcliffe's kind of like, the way he took the dinners away off the staff.
He's taken everything away. He's cut half the staff.
It was wild to get that level of insight from an owner. Because a lot of the time they'll talk through somebody else or they'll release vague statements. But this was a kind of like, let's talk about what's happening at all levels.
It felt like you're watching Sir Jim Ratcliffe talk to an accountant. Like, we're actually getting a peek behind.
Or prepare for a dissertation, for a deposition.
Gary Neville got quite a lot of shit for it, but I thought he spoke really well. I thought he handled it well, and I thought he asked probing questions.
But my question for you, hold on real quick. Sir Jim Ratcliffe and everything that he's done, seemingly not helping. Has it made you like American owners a little more?
Oh, I'm only in. I say I'm here for a stand-up tour. I'm here to get answers from the Glazers. That's why I'm in America. I'm like, boys, what is happening? Like a couple of dollars. Come on, give me a couple of bucks. I'll take back to Manchester, give to the club. Oh my God.
It is. I mean,
it's insane. But by the way, Everton could conceivably finish above. I think where Man United are in the league is kind of where we deserve to be in the league. It's
100%.
Yeah, but also I support Man United because my dad supported Man United, and when I started to support Man United, it was Man United were just dominating English football and doing really well in Europe. And you get a lot of shit for saying this, and people don't believe you. But if that had always continued to now, I think I would have lost interest. Football is great because sometimes other teams will come through. Like, look at Leicester winning the Premier League.
Oh yeah, I'm an Arsenal fan.
That was the most enjoyable Premier League season of better than Man United ever win the league for me. I'm more of a football fan, so I love that. But the fact that Man United have gone way back down the league and things are terrible, that could turn itself around, and that will be a great journey as a fan if Man United can go back up the league. Yeah. That will mean so much. So I think you gotta realize that every team, like lots of teams, have their moment. you know. And if it was always United's time, it would be boring.
You know how some Brits spell it M-U-M instead of M-O-M? We say mom, they say mum.
Yeah.
You just said da.
My dad.
Yeah.
Is there a second D in that word for you guys as well?
No, I would say like my dad.
But when you spell it out, is it
D-A.
D-A-D?
No,
oh,
D-A.
it's just D-A?
D-A.
For real?
Yeah.
That's kind of fun.
Your dad, your man, your dad.
Yeah. We don't have dads, so we don't know.
Yeah.
But if you look at the way Manchester United is right now,
Yeah.
I think the biggest issue for you guys, besides everything that's happening on the pitch and the ownership and the stadium,
Besides every
every aspect of footballing,
the away shirt's nice.
Yeah, that's true. Here's the biggest issue with you guys: it's all of your best players currently have microphones in front of them.
Yeah.
So it is a nonstop, a revolving door of famous broadcasters who used to wear that shirt and win, and they're all highly critical. Do you ever just shut it off, or do you watch all of this? Is this like what do they call it? Something like what's a tragedy porn or something, like, you know what I mean? Like, you love seeing like car accidents,
like it's voyeuristic or something. Yeah. I mean, look, Roy Keane is like my hero. Roy Keane's my footballing hero. So I listen to him because he will be brutal in his criticism of Man United, but then he'll praise them where it's right. But I'm addicted to all of it. The soap opera of Man United at the minute. It is unbelievable. I think some of the fans are great. Some of the fans are absolutely terrible. Like when you go to Arsenal kind of had it when Arteta first came. Arsenal would win 2 games, and all of a sudden it was like, we're back. We're going to be the Invincibles again. Then you would lose 2 games, and it's like, Arteta out. Yeah. And that continued for so long. Man United are going through that at the minute. Like, we beat Leicester 3-0 yesterday or whatever. Yeah. Everybody's like, boys, the boom's back. The boys are back. I'm like, the 3 of us, in fact, the 5 of us in the studio might have a chance of beating Leicester. Like, we might have a chance of beating Leicester.
She plays in college, so she actually might, bro.
I'm sure she's better than all of us.
I'm the best of you a lot.
We get 6 other guys from Street FC with a 2-star rating. We have a chance of beating Leicester.
So the soap opera aspect is fascinating, and I think that the Sir Jim Ratcliffe interview, I thought the part that stuck out to me was when he said that, you know, that Manchester United would have been bankrupt in like, you know, 9 months if he didn't make these cuts. And then Gary Neville.
Do we believe that though?
Why would he lie? I don't understand why he would lie. But
he's a billionaire. I don't know if you guys have been billionaires recently.
But the team
might be your Elon, bro. Actually, he is your Elon. Oh my God.
That is possible.
Oh no.
Watch. Elon was trying to buy Liverpool, you know. But I think watching the interview, you sort of I get the sense that he loves the club and
he's a supporter.
He's a supporter, but then he is stuck in this business situation where he still has to show respect to the Glazers. And Gary Neville is like trying to coax him to being like, it's the Glazers, right? Come on, just say it's the Glazers. And he's like, oh, I'm not going to talk about what people did in the past. And it's like right there.
How is it the Glazers' fault when he's cut everything? He's cut all the budget.
But he's saying he has to do this.
Has to
they're
do
going to
it
run out of cash because the Glazers aren't putting money into the club.
Yeah.
Like, they're not putting money into the club.
I just don't believe it.
Wait, you don't believe that the cuts have to be made? You think they're making the cuts for
I'm not saying
reason?
Some cuts didn't need to be made. The overwhelming amount of cuts, the consistent amount of cuts, is for a club that brings in that much commercial revenue. Yeah. It just doesn't make sense to me.
The debt is
crazy.
Yeah, but I think this. So we're gonna get into a longer conversation, and I don't want to do that. But the way debt is looked at by American business owners is different. Like, the larger your debt, you're only given so much debt because a bank trusts that. So it almost raises the value of the club. So the club raising its value allows them to ask more of their commercial partners. And so it's almost like adding that much debt when you have the ability to pay back easily, right? It allows you to get a larger, that's why you have such big commercial contracts. That's why you have such large partnerships. So it almost works hand in hand. If you didn't have the debt, no one would trust that you could take on X amount of money, and you wouldn't be able to ask for so much money in a long sense. So I don't believe you need to make all these cuts. You didn't have to get rid of the historian who's worked in the basement for 40 years. You didn't have to get rid of that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe you don't need the X amount of
But by the way, that guy's playing left back next week.
Yeah, he's desperately needed. Yeah.
But I would argue that you're saying, like, just because the brand is so tremendous and brings in so much commercial revenue, I would argue that it doesn't just happen on its own, that Manchester United, even with the losses and even with the poor form, it doesn't that actually hurts how much debt they're allowed to hold. Right. So if they're losing, or people are more interested in Manchester City and these other clubs, there's more money in the Premier League, and the other clubs are bringing in so much money that they look better on the pitch, and then therefore you can't just be like, we're Manchester United. Yeah, we're allowed to be in $1 trillion in debt because we're gonna make it back.
And the danger is that it's becoming a brand instead of a football club. That's the danger. Used to be, if Man United wanted a player, you would go, no matter really who you were playing for. There had to be a couple of exceptions, but any player, if you heard Man United are in for you, I want to go to Old Trafford, I want to play for Man United. That is not the case anymore, and that's kind of the scary thing. Like, Man United need like a number 9, like need a top striker. You look at Osimhen, Guerreros at Sporting Lisbon.
Yeah.
And these guys all have like release clauses that are like not that mental, apparently, like 60 million, 70 million. But, there's no chance, like, now United talk about Mateta, Crystal Palace, who's a good player, but like in the past, it would have been, we want that guy, we'll get that guy.
Yeah. It used to be akin to like when Real Madrid come knocking.
Yeah, 100%.
It used to be that. And I would say commercially they still are because they have so many fans all over the world. But whatever.
The merch is nice.
Yeah.
But everything else is a shit show.
You said your dad was a fan of the club. George Best is from North Ireland, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, is that a reason why a lot of fans maybe still?
I think that.
Was that like a past generation?
I think it's a past generation thing. I mean, you would get people my age or our age that still like talk about, or like he would be one of their favorite ever players. He was way obviously before my time.
Yeah.
But I think it probably made a lot more Man United supporters in Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was the reason my dad started supporting them. I'm not 100% sure. I just remember that like it was non-negotiable that was my team. Yeah. But when my dad started supporting them, they weren't the kind of dominating team that they are now. So that is the thing. Like in Ireland in general, people like if you support a team in England, it's Liverpool, Man United, good Arsenal fan base, maybe a little bit of Leeds.
Okay.
And that's kind of it. There's of course other clubs, but there's like a small group of clubs that people follow and people support.
That's dope. Why should we go to North Ireland? Like what are we gonna find when we go to Belfast?
When you go to games or the city?
No, just the city.
The city is,
because we've never been.
So the good thing about if you're coming over to Belfast, you can do all of Ireland. So like there is a border. I mean, politically, it's obviously like a bit of a hot potato.
Yeah, we've heard about the soft border.
Yeah.
I love the calcio.
I'm ovulating.
I'm sorry, you're getting a phone call from 1998.
It's Man United. Be like, we're winning.
Yeah.
But I mean, I love it. You can travel around it obviously so freely. I mean, the island itself, like I would say I'm Irish. It's great because you can do Belfast and you can do Dublin and Galway and. You can do all the picturesque touristy stuff, and then you can also just hang out in these towns and cities, and obviously bars are a huge part of it, but there's loads now to see and do. Like growing up, I'm from a place called Hollywood, which is just outside Belfast, a very small town.
You have the Hollywood sign in the background of your podcast. Yeah. I was wondering where that came from.
I'm a big, like, Belfast being my nearest city, so you said Belfast earlier. I wouldn't correct you, but it's like, it's Hollywood. I guess there's equivalents here where someone would say New York, you might be from closer to New Jersey, whatever.
Yeah.
But I love it, like my hometown especially. I like Rory McIlroy's from there, the golfer.
Of course.
That's a really small town. Jamie Dornan, the actor.
Yeah.
And me, so 3 equally
all
big guys,
superstars.
The big 3.
Hence the Hollywood name.
Just the wealthiest and sexiest man that come out of that town.
But I think you would enjoy a football game. You would enjoy an Irish League game.
We gotta go,
especially like a Monday night game. It's because Sky Sports have started to cover a lot of Irish League games, and there's more full-time teams as well. Like there's 3, maybe 4 full-time teams in Northern Ireland now, and there's a lot of American investment coming in to the clubs, which is great because it just the standard gets better, facilities are better. And
is
all
the standard? I mean, you've been to an MLS match, you've been to an Irish League match. What's the, because we get very
MLS way out in front.
Okay,
for an Northern Irish League game, yeah.
Now,
also, I just watch a lot of games when they're on BBC and stuff because I play football and I've always grown up playing. There's a big call to make Irish League football on a Sunday, move it from a Saturday to a Sunday, because I've been playing every Saturday since I was like 6. 30 years I've been playing every single Saturday. So I cannot go to Irish League games.
Gotcha.
And everyone plays football. So none of us can go. So if they moved it to a Sunday, I think it would be massive. But there's a big, the north of Ireland still, there's still a big religious element there about not having games on a Sunday. And I think we're getting closer to being able to move it, but there's still a little bit of kickback, in my opinion, unfortunately, about it.
Shane Todd said, everybody be atheists.
Yeah.
So we can
at least agnostic. Let's get something going on Sunday. We selling meat on Fridays? How far have we come as a society?
The one thing you were mentioning George Best, there was a great ESPN 30 for 30 about George Best that I
really
loved.
Okay. I didn't even know that.
He's an endless sea of quotes, this guy.
Yeah, but I remember watching it. It must have been like 7-8 years ago. I watched this, but he obviously George Best was drank a little bit. That was towards the end of his career. That was a big issue. Yeah. But they one of the stories when he got pulled over by the police and got arrested, and they said, and the news article said pulled over for drink driving. And as an American, this is not a thing we say.
They call it drink driving.
They call it drunk driving.
What do you guys call it?
Drunk driving.
Drunk driving.
You're drunk.
Yeah, but in Ireland, if you've had 4 drinks and then you're driving, you're not drunk driving. You're fairly sober driving with our tolerance levels.
So look, it's I've been to Dublin, and the level what we would call drunk, is much. It's like 3-4 drinks.
What's acceptable in public in the UK and in Ireland is you'd be kicked out of every establishment in the
American
US.
comedy clubs have 2 drink minimums, and American comics are like, do you guys not have that in Ireland? I was like, why would anyone need to be told, no, you need to have a minimum of 2? People be like, oh, how will I manage that?
Right.
No, most people had 2 drinks before they drove to the show.
Is there a maximum? Did you guys?
There should be like a moat for you to get from the venue to the bar. There should be more difficult ways to get alcohol.
It's crazy the way people drink. I mean, we made the mistake of taking the last train from Manchester to Liverpool. Oh, shit. And now we didn't know. We did not know. Culturally, we had no clue. We said we want to party in Manchester as long as possible. So what's the last train we could take back to Liverpool? This was, we call it Port Authority here. It was like a homeless shelter on wheels. People, there was like pamphlets, like they're not newspapers, but they're like advertisement things, that little magazines that you could get at the train station that have like coupons and stuff. These things were on the floor, and they kind of move a lot. And I'm like, what's going on? It's because they were covering vomit. You were walking over, and people were vomiting into bags. No one's saying anything. Everyone's okay with this. And I was like, bro, this is dystopian. Yeah. New York is a wild city. If this happened on the train in New York, they'd shut that line down.
Yeah. In Dublin, there was a guy I was talking to he was so drunk, but he was like,
serious?
But he was so excited to speak to a person of color. You know what I mean? I guess there aren't many in Ireland. So there was like a giddiness.
There's 4.
So he was so...
Everyone knows Brian. I've spoken to him before. You're new.
I remember his name. It was Mickey. I remember that. And he was like, excited to talk to me. Hey, you're American, whatever. And then he literally collapsed on the ground. And I'm like, hey, everybody, Mickey, he's really out of it. He's really drunk. His friend, he's like, hey, Mickey, get up. Come on, man. It wasn't even embarrassed.
Mickey, not again, Mickey.
Like, he's a bus driver. He starts in 10 minutes. But I know exactly what you mean, because people in Ireland, like, we find that difficult, like, to not show like excitement when we meet people who are not Irish. Like I the first show I did here in San Francisco, there was a black comic in the audience. He dapped me up. I had to sit down after. I was like, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me in my life. I got it wrong. Oh my God. I went very limp, and I let him take the driver's seat. I was like, cheers.
He's off.
Just take me around here, you know?
Show me the ropes, buddy. Do you get this a lot? This is going to happen a lot where like older folks, my wife is mostly Italian, but she has some Irish people in her family, which is a blend that would never happen in Europe, but it happens a lot here in New York. And the Irish people will tell you they are Irish to like, they'll tell you the whole story, where they're from, County Mayo, the whole story. Does this happen to you a lot? Do you get this a lot when you're back home? The like little Americans coming over, the little quaint old people telling you their whole life story, and you have to tell them, bro, you ain't Irish.
Yeah, but maybe like the other way around. More like when I'm here. You know, you get people who come up to me after the show. Oh, my family I'm Irish. And all right. And then they're like, my family are from Galway. I go, "Oh, right. Have you been over? Like, do you like it? Oh no, I've never been. You know, I suppose there is a kind of a snobby attitude sometimes that we have towards that Irish American thing. I personally don't get it. I'm like, these people are just like proud to have an Irish background, and we should be like happy with that. But like, I'll be honest, like I walked through the parade to get here, the St. Patrick's Day parade, a little bit much. Okay, a little bit much. And why am I not getting like some sort of fast pass to get through the crowds?
You of all people should be ushered through.
And people like if they, you know, I was chatting to a guy at a crossing for it. He's like, "Oh, happy Paddy's Day." American guy. I was like, yes. Where are you from? I'm from Ireland. He's like, "Why are you not dressed up?" I was like, I am.
You're the thing you're pretending to be.
Ireland. Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do? Like, it's so low key. Paddy's Day is so low key back in Ireland.
Yeah.
Like, well, there'll be like parades in Dublin and Belfast in the big cities and stuff. And there is stuff like mainly like for the kids, you know, and people after work will go for maybe a Guinness or something. But it's not like this. Like, I was in Philly 3 days ago and people were going mad for St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
And I was like, are we celebrating Irish culture, or are we using this as an excuse to get a little bit wild?
Okay, bing, 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 bing.
Yeah.
This is like Irish people's spring break.
Yeah, but I enjoy it. I don't mind it at all.
But you know, companies like Anheuser-Busch would be like, Shane Todd is against the Irish culture being celebrated.
My favorite thing is Heineken sells more beer on this day because it's green than Guinness, and this upset Guinness. So Guinness was thinking maybe they should make their bottles green for this day only. And then apparently like Guinness fans were upset that they wanted to change anything. It's this whole thing. But Americans are like, give me anything green. Heineken, not Guinness.
Have you guys encountered Guinness snobbery as well?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know.
You're not a big beer guy in general, but there's a guy named Guinness Guru on the internet.
He's great.
He's great.
But it's the people who are like, he goes into bars and reviews it and all that kind of stuff.
He's like the one bite rule pizza guy. He's that for Guinness.
But like, so say you guys were in Ireland and you put up a picture, Instagram story of you guys having a Guinness, and it was in like a different beer glass. Like the bar just gave you like a Harp glass or Carlsberg or whatever. You would be killed in the comment section.
Right.
The snobbery around it is crazy.
I'm that way with pizza.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
If I see you eating dog pizza, I'm going to say.
Well, here's the thing. I'm gluten-free and dairy-free. So when you see the pizza I eat, you would...
Yeah. I don't even know why you
like my wife.
Yeah. What is it? You get sick, or are you just trying to be healthy?
No, it's like allergy thing.
Yeah, okay.
Celiacs and the whole thing. Yeah.
But it's just sad.
Yeah, no, I was going to say we should take it to get pizza, but no, let's not do that. Let's not do that. Look, obviously, you've toured a bunch, and I know, dude, you got to make a flight. So when are you coming back? Like, what are your plans? Where can people see you? Obviously, Tea With Me podcast is huge. I see the clips all the time.
Thank you. Yeah. So that's my pod. I'm planning... I've got my visa, so I'm planning to like come back. Thank you for the visa, by the way. Guys.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. I want to come back more often. So every couple of months, maybe I'm going to come over. I think I'll do like a little bit of New York, Austin, kind of both those cities.
If you're here on a Sunday, want to get in a game,
and you're not injured.
Is it 11 aside?
7 aside.
7 aside.
But
you give me a free roll.
you want to be a roaming.
Just give me the strings. Let me pull them. I'm not going to roam. I'm not going to move. But I just move. I'll move on like.
Yeah.
You playing the 10?
I'll play in a 10.
Okay. Yeah. We got a Scottish goalkeeper. Jag, he's great.
Y'all can knife it out.
Yeah. Cool. He's a big Celtic.
And that's just to show affection. He stabs me a little bit, I stab him. I'll hug.
Free healthcare, shake hands. All right, it's free.
So you're welcome to play anytime.
I would love to.
Okay, yeah, we'll sort that out.
And I'll find you the best gluten-free marinara pie.
Gluten-free, dairy-free.
Yeah, marinara. So no top. Actually, I already know the place.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Shane, it's been an absolute honor.
Thanks so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Best of luck with everything going forward. Tea Time, the podcast.
Tea with me. And
me.
Shane Todd Comedy, all one word. 2 D's in Todd, not in Dad. 2 D's in Todd. Shane Todd Comedy on Instagram. Follow this guy. Absolutely hilarious.
Shane, thank you so much, brother.
Thank you.
Come on, Shane Todd.
Shane Todd, just the man with 2 first names.
Right? It's uncomfortable for... I know a Todd Shane. That's how uncomfortable that was for me.
So shout out to Shane. Thank you so much for coming through. And
dude, he made time for us. He had his luggage in here. He was on the way to the airport. Might have got there late because of us, because it was such a good conversation. We kept it going.
Exactly. Shane lives with me now.
Yeah. He actually calls that bedroom North Ireland, North Polanco land, which I thought was really rude.
So thank you again for him coming through. We, as always, just again, another reminder, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet. Make sure
Hit the like button, the thumbs up right there below the video. Hit that right now.
Find us on Blue Sky. The whole footballing community is moving over there. We're having a great time. So at soccercooligans.com on Blue Sky, get over there. That's where all the action is.
Yeah, make sure you follow Shane Todd on the internet. He's a really funny guy. Good time, great podcast. And if he happens to be coming to your town, buy tickets to see him perform. Really, really funny.
That's the move. All right, everybody. We'll see you on Monday with a brand new episode. So enjoy the weekend. The international break is over.
Finally, we get some regular footy back.
We can now reconnect with our tribal clubs that
not our nations, but our second nation.
Okay. So hope your team won. Unless they played Everton.
Christian, I hope your team wins. How about that?
Okay, thank you so much. How sweet. That's the kindest thing you've ever said.
Say that emotionless. What is going on with this guy?
I mean, if you thought that was sincere, I don't know
nothing behind the eyes when he talks to you.
We'll see you on Monday, everybody. Take care. Peace.
Love you guys.